The nurse asked if I wanted her to try calling again. I told her no. My son hadn't answered the first 4 times. I didn't see the point in making it 5. She gave me that look people give you when they're trying to be professional about something that's clearly messed up. I appreciated that she didn't say anything. I was hooked up to enough machines already. I didn't need pity added to the list. The sepsis had come on fast. One day I'm changing the oil in my truck. The next I'm being wheeled into the ICU with my organs starting to shut down. They told me later I was about 12 hours from not making it. I remember thinking that was specific. 12 hours. Like they had a timer. My phone was on the table next to the bed. I could see it lighting up with messages from my daughter Emily. She was trying to get hold of her brother. Apparently he wasn't answering her either.
The thing that stuck with me was how quiet the room was between the machine beeps. You'd think a hospital ICU would be chaotic, but it's mostly just mechanical sounds and footsteps in the hallway. I had a lot of time to think. Too much, probably. I'm Robert, by the way, 62, retired electrician, widowed for 6 years, 2 kids. I thought I'd done okay by them. Emily finally got through to someone. I watched her face change while she was on the phone. When she hung up, she didn't look at me right away. That's when I knew. Emily put her phone in her purse and came back to the chair beside my bed. She sat down carefully, like she was working out what to say. I've known my daughter for 34 years. I can read her face better than most people can read a book. He's at Jennifer's parents' lake house, she said. Jennifer was my son Derek's wife, married 3 years. The lake house was about 2 hours north. I'd been there once for a cookout. Nice place. Expensive. He knows you're here? I asked. Emily nodded. I told him yesterday when they admitted you. Yesterday. I'd been in the ICU for almost 30 hours at that point. I did the math in my head without meaning to. It's the kind of thing you do when you're trying not to feel something. He said he'd try to come by tomorrow, Emily added. Try. That word sat in the room with us. My daughter stayed with me for 6 more hours that day. She brought me ice chips when my throat was dry. She talked to the doctors when I was too tired. She called her job and told them she needed the week off. Her boss gave her grief about it. I heard her side of the conversation. Derek didn't show up the next day, or the day after that. Emily stopped mentioning it. I stopped asking. The doctors said I was improving. My kidney function was coming back. The infection was responding to the antibiotics. I was going to make it. I kept my phone on the table. It rang a few times. Work buddies, my brother, Emily's husband, not Derek. I got moved out of the ICU on day 5. Regular room, fewer machines. Emily brought me a decent pillow from home because the hospital ones felt like packed sand. She'd been there every single day, sometimes twice. Derek finally texted me on day 6. I heard the notification sound and reached for the phone before I realized what I was doing. Emily was down in the cafeteria. I was alone when I read it. Hey Dad, heard you're doing better. That's great. Been crazy busy here. We'll visit soon. I read it 3 times, counted the words, 21. I don't know why I counted them. It seemed important somehow. I didn't respond right away. I set the phone back down and looked out the window. There was a parking garage across the way. I watched people coming and going, normal people doing normal things. The physical therapist came in an hour later to work on getting me walking again. 5 days in bed does things to your legs. I made it 15 feet before I had to sit down. She said that was good progress. Emily came back with coffee. I didn't mention Derek's text. She didn't ask if I'd heard from him. That evening, my phone lit up with a notification. Instagram. I don't use it much, but Emily had set it up for me a few years back so I could see pictures of the grandkids. Derek's kids. 2 boys, 6 and 4. The notification was from Derek's account. He'd posted a photo. Him and Jennifer on a boat. Sunglasses, drinks, big smiles. The caption said something about lake life and relaxation. The timestamp said it was from that afternoon. I got discharged on day 8. Emily drove me home. Her husband had already stocked my fridge and picked up my prescriptions. Good people. I told them I'd be fine on my own, but Emily stayed anyway. She slept in the guest room for 3 nights. Derek called on the 4th day I was home. Not a text this time. Actual call. Dad, hey, how are you feeling? His voice sounded normal, friendly, like nothing was off. I'm all right, I said, getting stronger. That's good. That's really good. Yeah, we've been meaning to come by. It's just been insane with Jennifer's family stuff and the kids' schedule. I didn't say anything. He kept talking. Her parents had this whole thing planned at the lake for weeks. Family reunion type deal. We couldn't really bail on it. You know how that goes. You were there the whole time I was in the hospital, I said. There was a pause. Not long. Maybe 3 seconds. But I heard it. Well, not the whole time. We came back for a day. But yeah, mostly. I figured Emily had it covered. She's always been better at the hospital stuff anyway. You know I hate those places. I sat down in my kitchen chair. The same chair I'd sat in for 20 years. Dad, you still there? Yeah, I said. Look, I'm sorry I couldn't be there more. But you're okay now, right? That's what matters. We talked for another minute. He said he'd visit soon. I said okay. We hung up. I sat there for a while after. The house was quiet. I noticed that more now. I didn't hear from Derek for 2 weeks after that call. Emily visited twice, brought the grandkids once. They ran around the backyard while we drank coffee on the porch. She didn't mention her brother. Neither did I. I got stronger, finished the antibiotics, started taking short walks around the neighborhood. My buddy Frank invited me to play cards on Thursday nights again. I went. It felt normal, except I kept thinking about that photo. The boat, the drinks, the timestamp. I'd worked as an electrician for 40 years. You don't last that long without learning how to solve problems. You assess the situation. You gather information. You don't react until you understand what you're dealing with. So I started paying attention. I noticed Derek's social media had a lot of posts from that week. The lake house, restaurants, jet skis, Jennifer's family, the kids playing in the water. Timestamps from every single day I was in the ICU. I noticed he'd texted Emily multiple times during that period. She showed me once when I asked. Casual stuff. Asking about grocery store recommendations near the lake. Complaining about Jennifer's uncle. Nothing about me. I noticed a voicemail I'd missed during the ICU days. I'd been too out of it to check them all. It was from Derek's number. 37 seconds long. I played it. Background noise, music, laughter. Then Derek's voice, kind of distant, like he pocket-dialed me. I heard him talking to Jennifer. Yeah, she said he's stable. Emily's got it handled. We're good. Then it cut off. I saved that voicemail. I didn't know why yet, but I saved it. 3 months went by. I got back to normal life. My strength came back. The doctors said I'd made a full recovery. Emily invited me to Sunday dinners. Her kids called me regularly. Life moved on. Derek called every few weeks. Surface-level stuff. How's the weather? How are you feeling? The kids are growing. Work is busy. He visited once, stayed for 40 minutes, seemed distracted the whole time. I didn't bring up the ICU, neither did he. Then in early September, he called and asked if he could come by on Saturday. Said he wanted to talk about something. I said sure. He showed up with Jennifer. That was unusual. She normally stayed home with the kids on weekends. They both seemed excited about something. I made coffee. We sat in the living room. Small talk first. Then Derek leaned forward. So, Dad, we've got some really exciting news. We found a house. Jennifer pulled out her phone and started showing me pictures. Big place, 4 bedrooms, nice yard, good neighborhood. It's perfect for the kids, she said. Great school district. Derek nodded. We've been looking for over a year. This one just came on the market. But here's the thing. We need to move fast. There are already 2 other offers. I sipped my coffee. Waited. Our pre-approval is solid, Derek continued. But we're about $40,000 short for the down payment we need to be competitive. Jennifer's parents are putting in $30,000. We were hoping you might be able to help with the last $10,000. He said it casually, like he was asking to borrow a ladder. Jennifer smiled at me. We'd pay you back, of course, once we sell our condo. I set down my coffee cup. I looked at Derek for a long moment. He had that hopeful expression people get when they think they're about to get what they want. Jennifer was still holding her phone out, showing me pictures of granite countertops. 10,000, I said. Right. I know it's a lot, Dad, but it's a really solid investment. The house is already appraised above asking, and like Jennifer said, we'll pay you back when the condo sells. Probably 6 months, max. I nodded slowly. When do you need an answer? Pretty soon, actually. We need to submit our offer by Monday. He glanced at Jennifer. We were really hoping we could count on you for this. I stood up and walked to the kitchen, poured myself more coffee. They stayed quiet, waiting. I came back and sat down. I almost died in June, I said. Derek's expression changed. Dad, come on, let me finish. My voice was calm, even. I was in the ICU for 5 days, sepsis, organ failure. The doctor said I was about 12 hours from not making it. Jennifer shifted in her seat. Derek looked at the floor. You were at a lake house the entire time. Jet skis, boats, parties. You posted about it every day. I saw the pictures. Dad, that's not... You didn't come see me once. Not once. You called your sister to check if I was stable so you wouldn't have to cut your vacation short. The room got very quiet. I have a voicemail from you. Pocket dial. You told Jennifer I was stable and Emily had it handled. You said, we're good. Derek's face went pale. So no, I'm not giving you $10,000. Jennifer stood up first. She grabbed her purse without looking at me. Derek stayed sitting for a few more seconds, then got up slowly. His face had gone from pale to red. You're really going to hold that over me, he said. I explained what happened. Jennifer's family had a party, I finished. I know. You chose it. You're being unfair. I stayed seated, kept my voice level. You texted me once while I was in there. 21 words. You know what Emily did? She took a week off work, slept in a chair, talked to doctors, brought me ice chips at 2 in the morning. That's what family does. Jennifer was already at the door. Derek stood there another moment, looking like he wanted to say something else. He didn't. We'll figure it out ourselves, he finally said. I'm sure you will. Jennifer's parents seem generous. They left. I heard the car start, watched them pull away from the window. The house got quiet again. I finished my coffee, washed the cup, put it back in the cabinet. My phone rang an hour later. Emily. Derek just called me, she said. He's upset. I imagine so. He said you threw the hospital thing in his face. I told him the truth. She was quiet for a moment. Good, she said. It needed to be said. We talked for a while after that. Normal stuff. Her kids, work, Thursday card games. When we hung up, I sat on the porch. The sun was setting. September air coming in cool. I thought about a lot of things. What matters? Who shows up? What you remember when machines are beeping and the room is quiet.